Hey you guys, so it's Keoshia, I'm back for another hair video. If you like my hair videos, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from me. Also, thank you to all of my new subscribers. I see you guys subscribing. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel and helping me to get to 10,000 subscribers. I don't know if we're gonna make it by the end of the year, but the closer I get, the happier I am. So I really appreciate all of my old subscribers, definitely, and all of my new subscribers. So without further ado, let's just get into today's video. Okay, you guys, so as you can tell from the title of today's video, I am going to give you 5 fall and winter hair care tips for relaxed hair. As you guys know, when the seasons change, you have to change your routines with your hair. You have to change the products you use, how often you use heat, how often you decondition, those types of things. So I'm just going to give you guys some tips that I do, some tricks that I do in the winter. 5 to be exact, things that I change for fall and winter that I do not do in summer and spring, because as I said, different climates, different temperatures can affect everybody's hair differently. Now these are just the things that I do to help protect my hair during the winter, to make sure I don't have any breakage or it doesn't get too dry or too brittle from the cold air. So take these, and try to use them in your routine, but if it doesn't work for you, you may have to find something else. So let's just get into the first tip. All right, so my first tip is to be aware of breakage. Usually in the fall and winter, people start to see more breakage in their hair than they do in the spring and summer. And a lot of people think it has something to do with the routine. They're changing their routine, they're changing their products, their hair is having like culture shock from the weather, which could be true, but most likely if it's breaking in the same spots, in the same areas, it's most likely not your hair regimen. It is what you are wearing on your head. If you guys don't know, in the fall and winter, everybody loves to start wearing hats, all types of hats, wool hats, knit hats, and things like that. But what you don't know about those hats is they can damage your hair. Having straight wool, straight cotton on your hair without any lining in the cap can damage your hair super quick. And the reason why it does that is because there's already the cold air going through your hair, and then you put on a knit hat and the cold air and the knit hat. And when every time you take off the hat and put it on, take it off, put it on, it is causing friction in your hair. It is causing your hair to become weakened, it's kind of become damaged, and then it will start breaking. Me, I do like to wear hats in the fall, but I have one particular hat that I wear every single fall. I got this a couple of years ago from one of my friends. She actually gave it to me for Christmas. It was one of the best presents I've ever gotten. And it is a silk lined hat. It's like in a mustardy color. So if you are going to wear hats in the fall and winter, make sure that the hat is lined. Now, if you have certain hats already and you love them and they are not lined, then when you go out, you need to put something on your head before you put the hat on. So if you need to put on a silk rag, a silk do-rag, a silk, what's the little thing you get from the beauty supply store, a silk bonnet type situation, whatever it is you need to do. Don't feel bad about doing that. You'd rather have healthy hair than damaged hair. Nobody is gonna see it because you're gonna have it under the hat. And when you take the hat off, just take it off with the hat and store it inside the hat until you're ready to put it back on. So be aware of what you're putting on your head. This can include scarves going around your neck. If you wear your hair down and you're wearing a wool scarf, a knit scarf, a very rough textured scarf, or even a sweater like this, it can dry out your ends. It can dry out the ends of your hair because it's sucking all the moisture out of your hair. If you ever notice when you go to get something dry cleaned or get something clean and you notice it's all greasy around this area and stuff, you're like, where could possibly come? It is pulling literally the moisture and all the goodness out of your hair into that sweater. So make sure that you have a nice silk scarf, or if you're gonna put a scarf on, put your hair up and then put your hair down when you take the scarf off. Just be aware of what your hair is touching during the fall and winter season. So the second tip is to deep condition more often. A lot of people decondition maybe once or 2 times a month. It just depends on how often you wash your hair. Me, I wash my hair every single week and I deep condition every single week. Now, if you don't deep condition every single week and you only wash your hair once a month, you may want to consider washing your hair twice a month, just to make sure you can keep that good moisture in there, make sure that the fall and winter rough air is not pulling all the moisture out of your hair. Another thing I like to do in the winter is to do hot oil treatments. It helps keep your hair and your scalp stimulated, moisturized, and nourished. So if you haven't ever tried a hot oil treatment, you should. They work wonders, especially in the winter time. So make sure you're deconditioning more often. If you're doing it once a week already, I don't think you should need to do it more. But if you only do it every 2 weeks, maybe you want to start doing it every week. Or if you do it once a month, you might want to start doing it every 2 times a month. Not every 2 times a month, not every 2 times a month, twice a month. Just to make sure that you are getting all the moisture you need into your hair, so that you can combat that dry air as you go out into the fall and winter weather. Now, if your hair has a moisture sensitive and you get moisture overload really fast, then just make sure you pay attention to your hair. Make sure you notice whether it's getting dry or not, and if so, that could be an indicator that you need to go ahead and do a hot oil treatment or go ahead and do a deep condition. But pay attention to your hair, especially when it comes to the moisture. All right, my third tip is to wet your hair less often. A lot of people think, like, because I'm relaxed, I don't wet my hair as much as natural people do, because they do more twist outs, braid outs, and things like that. But we do have a lot of relaxed ladies in the hair community who like to do twist outs, braid outs, and things like that. So they will wet their hair multiple times a week and manipulate most time a week. In the winter, don't do that as much because the air is already dry. Then it's going to take your hair a really long time to dry. It's already cold outside. You can really damage your hair if you go outside and your hair is still wet. If you go outside and your hair is not completely dry, it may be dry on the ends, but sometimes it takes your roots to get a long time to get dry. Definitely if you live in below zero weather, like you up north in New York somewhere, Canada somewhere, and it get below zero, and you know, I live in the south, so it don't get that cold, but you know, your hair can freeze and break off. So make sure you are wetting your hair less often. You don't need to shampoo and condition as much. Just maybe give those twist outs and things a break for the fall and winter months. Just make sure that you are taking care of your hair really well, paying attention to washing it too much and drying it out too much with shampoo. So make sure you're wetting and shampooing less often. All right, my fourth tip is to use less heat more often. As you guys know, I am definitely not a heat user, but some people like to use heat. Some people wait until the fall and winter time to use heat. The reason is because if you live in the south, there is so much humidity, especially if you're Tex-Lax like me. You can flat iron your hair, but by the time you flat iron and walk out the house, you look like poof, like 1980s, okay? Like the big hair by the time you walk out of the house. So a lot of people wait for the fall and winter months to flat iron their hair. But when you're doing that, make sure you're still taking into consideration how often you're flat ironing your hair. If you flat iron your hair once a week and you find that your hair is kind of breaking off, then maybe just do it every 2 weeks. Wash your hair every 2 weeks, wrap it up so you can just keep it as straight as long as possible. Just don't go every single day flat iron your hair. Don't go every single week flat iron your hair, because that will definitely damage your hair, along with the heat and then the harsh weather. It's just gonna pull all the moisture out of your hair, and then you're not gonna understand why your hair is breaking off and things like that. So make sure you're still being mindful of your heat. That's why I'm just not a heat person at all. I hardly ever flat iron, and it don't bother me not one bit. But if you need to flat iron and that's something you want to do in the fall and winter, just be mindful how often you do it and how you take care of your hair in between those washings and flat irons. All right, and my fifth and final tip is to rethink protective styles. You know, a lot of people do protective styles in the spring and summer. During the summertime, people go on a lot of vacations. They don't want to do their hair. You know, they'll get braids like I got, or they'll get, you know, passion twists. They'll get sew-ins, things like that. But in the fall and winter is a really good time to get braids and things as well, because like I said, the harsh air, you can really moisturize your hair in braids. You don't have to worry about it being weighed down from too much oil or anything like that, because a lot of times when people wear their hair out, especially when it's flat iron, they don't want it to be stiff and weighed down. They want it to be nice and flowy. I know I do. So in the fall and winter, think about doing protective style. Get you a wig, do you a sew-in, do you a quick weave, do you some braids, some Marley twist, some passion braids, whatever the case may be, some cornrows. And what I love about wearing protective styles in the winter is that it's already cold. I ain't really trying to do no hair. I don't want my hair whipping all in my face, because you know, the wind blowing, it could be raining, snowing, all that other kind of stuff. And then having braids and protective styles will help protect your hair even more than having it out in the elements. So make sure that you rethink protective styles if you haven't thought about getting in the fall and winter before. Okay, you guys, so that is my 5 tips for the fall and winter for relaxed hair. If you have any other tips, leave them down in the comment section so everybody can check them out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.